talking real loud, spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading on lies, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in, honey. We are back. All right. Now I have some news for you all. So apparently, right before they took a break for lunch. Hold on. All right. So listen, so apparently before they took a break for lunch, honey, there was a surprise witness waltzed into the courtroom with their attorney in tow. A man by the name of George Copeland, who used to work for Diddy, honey. Okay. Now, they said this man walked in there with his attorney and said that he's ready to testify. All right. And that he was granted an immunity deal. Okay. They said he's granted an immunity deal and he's going to plead the fifth. Okay. Are y'all listening? And then they were explaining to him that since you're pleading, since you're getting immunity, you have to tell the truth. Honey, they said you could have seen the look on Diddy's face. He looked like he just got slapped with a ton of bricks. Woo, this is all bad for him and his team, honey. Okay, this is all bad, folks. Okay, so we're going to get into it. All right, this man waltzed up in there, honey, and they said that the feds came over and told him they would give him immunity, but they had some, they need the paperwork for him to sign and look over the paperwork. And one of the feds was like, oh, I have a copy of the paperwork right here, and just whipped it out and gave it to him. And he signed it right then and there. Him and his attorney looked over it for a few minutes, signed it right then and there. Everybody was like, who in the hell is that? My friend said he was shocked and appalled. He was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So anyway, this person, George Copeland or George Kaplan, that's his name, George Kaplan. I think he was a marketing exec or something like that. But anyway, he somehow worked for Diddy. Honey, Diddy's face is beyond cracked. Okay, this is all nefarious. It's about to get real juicy, people. Buckle up, okay? Buckle up. It's about to be a bumpy ride, honey. Okay, and now the expert witness is about to get cross-examined. So let me put my spectacles on because I'm here for all of it. I'm here for every bit of it, people. Yeah, I'm here for every bit of it. DJ Mano Scale said, buckle up, buttercup. Okay. AJ said, put on your seatbelt, honey. This is all crazy. Elizabeth said, a Diddy assistant is what I heard. Mm-hmm. Yes, in marketing, honey. Okay, Sheila said, I heard about George coming. I didn't know who he was. Well, honey, he is here. Waltzed up in there with his lawyer, and honey, he done signed the papers for immunity. He's about to spill all the tea. Diddy, what did you do? And what does he know? I'm here for it. Okay, so before we get into it, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. And everybody, please take your time and hit that like button. Okay, please hit the like button, like and share. Thank you.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. I see that Inner City Press has just posted some more pics of baby oil. Honey, Diddy was stocking up. I don't see how baby oil, he is probably the one that keeps baby oil in business. Okay, I don't see how he doesn't have stock in the company. Okay, so let's start at the first updates. Okay, so they had the recess now. Gerard Gannon, okay. What the witness has said so far. Okay, so here is a summary. We're going to just do some of the summary of it, the highlights. Here's a summary of what was said from the witness stand before lunch on the 8th day of Sean Diddy Combs' federal racketeering and trafficking trial. Okay, Gerard Gannon, the Homeland Security Specialist, HSI, Special Agent in charge. Okay, so basically the jury saw photos of SEX toys, a pair of red heels, that Gannon said he found in a master bedroom in the closet at the home. About 18 pairs of platform high heels and 3 cell phones were found. Other pictures the jury saw included boxes filled with baby oil and personal lubricant, 25 bottles of baby oil, 31 bottles of lubricant. Okay, let's skip down to Dawn Hughes, the forensic psychologist who's currently on the stand. Dawn Hughes, a board-certified clinical and forensic psychologist, testified that she has not assessed any victims or witnesses in this case, nor has she interviewed anyone connected to the case. Hughes said she's testifying as a blind expert who provides the jury with some information about domestic violence, grave assault, and traumatic stress. Hughes testified that it's very common for victims to stay in abusive relationships and that the perpetrators use various abusive methods. Okay. Then the judge is back on the bench and the lawyers are in the courtroom. The jury has not come in yet. Okay, Dawn Hughes, hold on. The jury has not come in yet. When the trial resumes, Dawn Hughes, board-certified clinical forensic psychologist specializing in trauma, will continue her testimony. Okay. Okay, here we go. Expert witness back on the stand. The jury is now entering and her testimony is resuming. Defense attorney Jonathan Bach is cross-examining Hughes. Defense attorney Jonathan Bach asked psychologist Dawn Hughes to confirm that she has not gathered detailed information about the specific facts of this case. Hughes said that's correct and added, I'm not rendering any opinions about a specific individual. Now, when asked, Hughes said that she'd heard that someone named Cassie was in the case. Girl, bye. Y'all hear this? She said she heard someone named Cassie. Girl, everybody knows who Cassie and Diddy are. Please sit down, lady. I don't believe you. Okay, but nonetheless, Hughes said that's correct and added, I'm not rendering any opinions. Okay. Then she said she heard somebody named Cassie was in the case. Bach confirmed the forensic psychologist didn't hear Cassie's testimony or review the records about her rug with the D use. Okay, now remember, Hughes said earlier today that she's testifying as a blind expert to provide the jury with information about domestic violence, rape, assault, and traumatic stress. She said that she has not interviewed anyone connected to the case. All right. So that's all we have for now. Hold on. Yeah, that's all we have for now. That was 16 minutes ago. Okay, so Inner City Press hasn't posted anything except for these pictures of this nefarious baby oil and Astroglide. Okay, looks like they've got a little something posted. Let's go to it. Hold on. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, that's the exhibit right there with the baby oil and the Astroglide, y'all. Please pay attention, honey. Okay, so now let's see what's going on here. That was posted 4 minutes ago. Okay, so Combs, or not Combs, but Bach is the one doing the cross exam. Jonathan Bach. He says, you gave a webinar about giving expert witness testimony, right? Dr. Hughes says, yes, for battered women. Bach says, let me show you DX. The judge calls for a sidebar, honey. Where is this going? Where is this going? And why is the judge calling for a sidebar? Okay, so that's all we have for now. With that being said, until we get more updates, we're going to continue, beloveds, watching the video or the interview of the Punisher. Okay, I'm going to go back to that. We were at the 15-minute mark. And here he is. Likes up, everyone, please don't forget to like and share.
Testimony, because that would have been an easy question for you to answer had you known all the background, right, that we're all learning in court. So congratulations and good for you. You're a model witness, and I appreciate you doing that. That's true justice. I do want to press a little.
Now I want you all to pay attention. Now she needs to stop. Okay, she is clearly, y'all heard her. She's talking about you're a model witness. Honey, this man is beyond nefarious. Okay, this man was involved in whole freak offs. Okay. This man, we just saw him in leather. Looked like he was into BDS and M, honey. Please pay attention. Okay, y'all saw that. Talking about he's a model witness. She's rubbing it on thick. Okay, she must have heard what David James said about him being well endowed, honey, no less. But anyway, I digress.
A little bit on this aspect of from the first freak off until the last freak off that you did you sense that they were getting more practiced at it and that it was a lot more sexual right away? First, it was performative and just, a show, and then it became actual sex towards the end. Was there anything different between episode 1 and say episode, maybe maximum 12? That seems to be the max number that you performed with them. Did 12 seem a lot more, like it was a machine that was ready to go?
Actually, the opposite. It was very routine, like a very consistent routine. It always started the same, some sort of a scenario where we would be across from each other on couches that were covered with sheets. It always had to start with a baby oil, with me rubbing it on myself, her doing the same, escalating to us rubbing each other, and then escalating into small sex acts leading into actual penetration. It's very methodical and pretty much the same. I can't say there was a different energy from start to finish. It pretty much stayed the course of whatever the criteria was from the first time going forward. And the first time was actually the only time there was an actual sexual interaction. And it was offered, as I said in my testimony, but I declined.
So one of the other escorts who had done some of the same things in these freak-offs that you were hired for said that at one point, Sean Combs was very violent with Cassie, and that he took her in the other room, and that he heard slapping and beating, and that when they came out, Diddy wanted them to continue and finish strong. That was his words, apparently, allegedly, finish strong. But that the male escort couldn't. He said, I had erectile dysfunction at that point because of what I'd gone through. And I know, like, you wrote a whole book called In Search of Freezer Meat about that, about erectile dysfunction and how difficult it can be. And I think you might have mentioned that it actually happened to you during one of your freak-offs with Diddy and Cassie, that you had the same kind of issue. Was it at all based on violence or aggression?
No, it was not. It was not based on violence and aggression. I think for me, it was there was no true, at times for me, I could not get into a place of intimate connection. There was always a discomfort with obviously a male partner just being present, period. And then, like I said, with the direction, the move to the left, the move to the right, to do this, to do that, in terms of me maintaining like in a erotic space of being turned on or whatever, it was difficult. So it was just more of, it felt like acting opposed to a actual natural sexual scenario.
You know why that man couldn't do what he had to do? Because Diddy's nefarious self was looking at him so hard. Let me tell y'all something. Diddy wanted these men to do the do with Cassie so he could see these men. He was getting turned on by the men. That's what that was. And Diddy's not fooling me. He is not fooling me. He wanted those men, honey. That's what that was. Okay, that's why he didn't mind that Cassie was getting with a big, you know what, six. Because Diddy wanted to see that himself. That's right, Fat Boo said Diddy was creeping him out. Yes. He probably was looking at that man like this. And I'm not talking about his face, okay? That man couldn't keep it up because of Diddy. All right. He was just cringe for him. I can guarantee you. Okay, so anyway, let me go to the next update really quick, and then we'll get back into this because I'm here for it all. Okay, so Okay, so 2 minutes ago, after attorney spoke to Judge Aaron Subramanian at the bench, the judge asked the jury to go to the jury room for a few minutes. What the hell's going on, y'all? What is going on? Hold on, let me read this one before this from 22 minutes ago, because I don't know if I read this one. The psychologist confirms that she hasn't gathered details about the specifics of the case. Defense attorney Jonathan Bach asked psychologist Dawn Hughes, now this is CNN, asked psychologist Dawn Hughes to confirm that she has not gathered detailed information about the specific facts of the case. Hughes said that's correct and added, I'm not rendering any opinions about a specific individual. When asked, Hughes said that she's heard about there's someone named Cassie in the case. Now, Bach confirmed the forensic psychologist didn't hear Cassie's testimony or review the records about her rug with the D use. Okay, so remember earlier she said she was going to be a blind expert, testifying as a blind expert to provide the jury with information about domestic violence and all that stuff. Okay, that was the last one we read. So now the judge, they spoke to the judge, the attorney spoke to the judge, and now he's asked the jury to go to the jury room for a few minutes. Now the defense team, this was from 1 minute ago, the defense team wants to ask expert witness Dawn Hughes about a webinar presentation that she gave in 2015 about preparing for court testimony. The prosecution said that they don't believe the presentation shows any evidence of a potential bias from her. Defense attorney Jonathan Bach said the webinar was training for battered women advocates. Oh, hell no. Do y'all see how that's a problem? Do y'all see how that's going to be a problem? I wonder what the judge is going to say, because that is absolutely a problem. She is absolutely going to be biased, okay? Or even if she isn't, there's a potential that she could. So that's going to be a problem for them. What are they going to do now? Looks like it looks like they're caught up in this is going to be a problem, honey. I'm going to see if they're going to let her finish her testimony. I hope she does, because she was doing a good job explaining all that stuff. It all sounded exactly like what Cassie was saying. But the fact that she was training, wait a second. And then also think about this. This is why they don't want her testifying. Because when she gave that webinar, she was telling battered women to prepare. She was training them on how to prepare for court. So basically giving them instructions on how to act when they get to court, and likely what to say and how to behave. Oh yeah, that definitely has a grounds for bias. Okay, at the end of the day, we don't need to give the defense anything else that could possibly get them an appeal or get the case overturned after Diddy's convicted, okay? We need the case to stick once it's done. That's all I'm saying. Now let's go back to this, and then I'm waiting for the next updates because this is getting real juicy. Okay, here we go.
I look forward to you joining us at our next investor webinar. where you can drill deeper into our 9 to 13% annual.
Did you ever know another escort by the name of Jules in LA?
The truth of the matter is, I was in a naive state. My very first interaction, I was told it was, she went by Janet. I had no idea who they were. And she introduced herself as Janet and said this was her birthday and this was something special her and her husband was doing. So the majority of the time.
Does anyone know why Cassie used the name Janet? Does anyone have any idea why Cassie used the name Janet, you guys? I can guarantee you I know why she used that name. Because Miss Jackson, if you nasty. Okay, please pay attention, honey. Please pay attention. That's why she used that name. Okay. Ah, hold on. Roxy said Diddy was rocking a hijab while freaking off. Not look like a whole member of the Taliban. Okay, he needs to sit all the way down. Gwendolyn said, Queen, they found nitrous oxide, sidebar. What? Ooh, this is all crazy. Okay, Black Gossip said, oh, okay, what's up with the guns and rugs, stuff like that? Did you see anything like that elephant trunk? Nope. What elephant trunk? Ladybug said it's Janet. It's Janet, Miss Nasty. Let's get back into it. Panther Strike said, when these people come forward, they looking for a bag. Well, they're not getting paid for this. These people, he was subpoenaed, honey. You think that man want to come here and tell everybody he's a whole worker getting paid for such? Honey, I wouldn't want anybody to know that. I think these people were subpoenaed. They're not getting paid, honey. 100 Black Rayoke said, not Punisher. His name is Gimbal. Not Gimbal. Miss AP said, my sentiments exactly, Queen. Oh, what is really going on here? OG Patrice said, but that's a thought too. Janet Jackson. Yeah, that's what it was. I'm telling you, Miss Jackson, if you nasty, honey, you know what it was. She said, I want to do nasty things and all that stuff. Gwyneth said, Queen, that is what I asked you yesterday. Did Diddy call Cassie his mama's name Janice? Oh, please, I hope not. They said Janice. I don't think he was calling her Janice, honey. I hope not. That'll be just so nefarious. I mean, he did have her calling him Pop-Pop, though, so you never know what Diddy's weird self. Okay? What a freak. TC Dancer, this type of tea needs a warning label, Queen. Fat Boo said, I would want to get paid specifics, not such. Okay, let me get back to this. Y'all are nefarious. Here we go.
Actually, the entire time, even when I found out who they were initially, I really believed I was the only guy they were involved with. I thought this was some.
But had you ever heard of had you ever heard of an escort named Jules?
I have not. I'm not in the male escort business. I'm actually a stripper that took a proposition, but is not somebody I would commingle with in terms of interactions.
And then last quick question, sir. Did they offer you, did the feds offer you immunity at all at any step of the way as they were, prepping you to be a witness for this trial?
No, there was no talk of immunity of anything. From what I understood, I was not charged with any crime or there was any issue where I would need immunity in regards to this matter.
Sheree Hayes,
Now I want you all to pay attention. That man said he wasn't offered immunity because he didn't commit any crimes pertaining to this situation. So let the record reflect that everyone who was granted immunity committed crimes, okay? Like I told y'all days ago, the only reason they offer you immunity is because you're behind committed some crimes. Now that guy that testified yesterday, the former assistant, the one that gave us all the tea, that clearly lets me know Diddy was commingling funds, he said he didn't want to admit that he was offered immunity. Remember when they asked him on the stand, were you given immunity? Oh, I don't know exactly what my lawyer looked at. My lawyer said that You know, they gave my lawyer something, but I don't know what it was. Man, sit your behind down. You know damn well you know whether or not you got immunity. Okay? And then even if you didn't understand the paperwork, the lawyer would have told you. Then he's going to say, well, you know, I think that I got a proffer. I think I signed a proffer. Sir, you got immunity. Okay? Because he was committing crimes. And Cassie got immunity too. Okay? All these people testifying got immunity. The man that's coming, the surprise witness, George Kaplan, got immunity. All of these people, yeah, all of these people, co-conspirators. All right? But let's continue.
I can't thank you enough for being so forthcoming and candid and agreeing to talk to me on this program tonight. I really appreciate it. I also appreciate you walking into federal court and getting up on a witness stand and talking about stuff that's pretty uncomfortable. You know, the justice system relies on witnesses being fair and truthful and doing what you did, no matter how hard it is. And it is real hard. So thank you so much.
Well, how many times is she going to say the word hard? That's for number one. And for number two, you all don't think that she was rubbing it on extra thick. Now, we watch News Nation a bit, and we've seen her conduct a myriad of interviews. And has she ever been so gracious and thankful to anybody? Honey, she wants this man. She just not fooling me. Let me rewind it back because listen to how many times she's thanking this man. I just want to thank you so much. She probably want to call that man Big Daddy and everything. I'm not even joking. Watch this. Y'all know it's true.
Appreciate you walking into federal court and getting up on a witness stand and talking about stuff that's pretty uncomfortable. You know, the justice system relies on witnesses being fair and truthful and doing what you did, no matter how hard it is. And it is real hard. So thank you so much.
Oh, no, my pleasure. I appreciate you having me, and thank you so much.
No, ma'am.
Can I ask you one quick question? Do you think
Sure.
Do you think Sean Combs is guilty of sex trafficking and the crimes that he's actually accused of and racketeering?
I mean, again, like I said, I really, this has been a high place of anxiety for me. So it wasn't just being a good witness and follow directions. I really avoid the details. I think the totality of the situation for everybody involved is just extremely sad and difficult, and just a black eye experience on everybody involved. And I just think it's unfortunate. I don't have the legal understanding to levy the evidence and come to a determination of what I think or don't think. I just think it's an unfortunate situation for everyone.
Well, I am super appreciative. Thank you again, Sheree Hayes.
Anytime. Have a good day.
Okay. You too. And I just want to tell our viewers as well before we move on that we did reach out to Sean Combs' attorneys today. We requested a statement from them, but we have not heard back.
Shut up, people ain't give you no statement while Diddy's on trial for his life. Let me tell you something, honey. Sit down somewhere, lady. She wanted that man, honey. I could see it all in her eyes, honey. Oh, thank you so much. You've been such a pleasure. I really appreciate you being so open and honest and walking into that federal courtroom and giving such a compelling and accurate testimony. And it's so hard for anybody to do. It's very hard to do such things. I mean, it's really hard. But can I ask you one more question? I thought she was about to ask for a damn private dance. I said, damn. What's really going on here? But let me tell you all something. In all seriousness, woo, honey, she wanted to punish her. That's all I'm saying. It was evident to me. I'm like, how many times she gonna use the word hard? Hashtag no Diddy. I absolutely cannot. Okay? I absolutely cannot. All right, we have one more update. Dre Day said he spoke well. He absolutely did. I like him. He seems like a very nice guy. And let me tell y'all something. He answered that question very well, honey. When she said, do you think Diddy's guilty? Honey, ain't nobody about to sit up there and say Diddy's guilty when Diddy got that man's address. Okay, you know Diddy took screenshots, remember? How that one S worker said that Diddy took a picture of his license, honey, just to let him know. Well, he's probably thinking, honey, if Diddy gets off, don't come looking for me. I'm not about to say anything about Diddy, okay? He said, I just think it's a very unfortunate situation for everyone involved. It's a black eye on society and this and that, honey. You answered it right, honey. Don't get me involved, honey. Okay, but anyway, Now let's go to the update. Okay, this is from 3 minutes ago. Defense attorney Jonathan Box says psychologist Dawn Hughes is someone who makes most of her money as a professional witness and comes to the stand with a certain perspective. He said it's very relevant to the defense, telling the court that expert witnesses are very dangerous because they come in with an aura of authority. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey said a document of bullet points from the presentation shouldn't be shown to the jury because it could be confusing and cause a sideshow. Judge Aaron Subramanian said the document won't come in, but Bob can ask Hughes more about the training she gave. The document now that I'm looking at it doesn't say really anything about anything. That's what the judge said. The judge is basically saying much to do about nothing. Okay, now 2 minutes later, the jury returns to the courtroom. Psychologist Dawn Hughes and the jury are returning now to continue. Ooh, honey, it's about to get real juicy. Now, let me see if I have any. This is from CNN. Let me see if I have any updates from Inner City Press. Okay, here we go. Judge Subramanian says she can be shown the document about training domestic violence advocates and asked if she remembers, but I won't admit it as evidence until she denied it and it becomes prior inconsistent statement. Okay, then the witness re-enters the jury. Box says, does the document refresh your recollection? Dr. Hughes says, let me look at it more closely. Yes. Box says, the fourth part is about navigating cross-examination, right? Dr. Hughes says, yes. Okay, so now I see where he's going. He's saying that if she's the same person who trains people on how to behave and speak when they come to court, then she does that herself. And that's why he said specifically, he said this part 4, is about navigating cross-examination. So is he trying to say that she's already plotted how she's going to do in the cross-exam? I think so. Ooh, this is all so juicy. This is all so juicy. Roxy said, this chat got me crying. These comments are way too nefarious. Honey, this is what I have to deal with every day, beloved. Get used to it if you're going to stick around, boo. These people are absolutely nefarious, okay? I mean, they are the most of all. All right. So anyway, let's get back to this and see what she's talking about. Meantime, I'm going to see if I can find something from Lauren LaRosa from the Breakfast Club.
Understandable. They are in trial. It's the busiest time for a lawyer. Coming up, 2 more arrests to announce after 10 men escaped from a New Orleans jail last week, but one was not one of these fugitives. He was a maintenance worker at the jail, and the cops say he's the one on the inside who helped this group get out. But wait until you hear why he may not seem so guilty. I'll explain next. And be sure to check out my podcast, Drop Dead Serious. You can check it out on YouTube. You can check it out on the podcast platform. There's the QR code. We'll see you in a minute.
This is all a hot mess. I mean, Gwendolyn said they run into a freak off. Jay Great said, Queen, she wanted milk and cookies. Fat Boo said they look like they're hunting Easter eggs. Lord have mercy. Honey, I don't even know why they tried it, because they should know they're going to get caught. So where are you going? Honey, the only way I would try to escape from jail or prison is if I knew that I had a whole private jet somewhere waiting for me, honey. Then I'm out of here. Other than that, honey, just stay where you are. You won't get far, okay? Bars again, all right? I absolutely cannot. Okay, so let me see if I can find what Lauren LaRosa said for the day.
He used to spend his days in the unhappy confines of the Orleans Parish Justice Center, the Big Easy's overcrowded, ramshackle jailhouse. But after each and every one of those days, he got to leave. He went home and he slept in his own bed. He ate his own food. Not anymore, though. Williams was a maintenance worker at the jail, and while the last thing that place needs is one less maintenance worker, he is off the clock, and now he's in a cell there of his own. Not at that particular place, but one that's not far away. He's charged with helping these 10 guys bust out of the prison on Friday, which means 10 charges of escape. Those are the breaks. Authorities say Williams turned off the water to the toilet that the inmates tore off the wall to get away. But after you hear why he helped them escape, you may have a little sympathy for him, because he said they threatened to shank him if he didn't help them bust out. And speaking of them, 5 of those inmates are still on the run, but 1 more was just picked off tonight. The 5th and latest to be captured is Corey Boyd. There he is, caught just a couple hours ago. We get more on all of this right now from News Nation's correspondent Mills Hayes, who's been following the story live, and she is live.
Honey, I would have never copped to that, helping them. First of all, I wouldn't have helped them, but let alone cop to it, honey, please. They wouldn't have got anything out of me. I said, talk to my lawyer, okay? Roxy says, Queen. Says, Queen, you in the chat, you guys made my day. I'm going back to work. Okay. Thank you for tuning in, beloved. I appreciate you. I'm glad you had fun, honey. Okay. And thank you for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Yeah, this chat is a hot mess. Okay. So we have one more update from a minute ago. With Judge Aaron Subramanian having ruled that he can do so, defense attorney Jonathan Bach is now asking psychologist Dawn Hughes about training she gave to victim advocates who may need to testify in court. Now, when asked, Hughes said that she believes the group she was speaking about received a grant from the Department of Justice under the Violence Against Women's Act. All right, then, lady, we're gonna see where you're going with it. I mean, she's doing good so far. At the end of the day, I mean, she can't help it if she's an advocate. Okay, she's doing a good job so far, in my opinion.
For us in New Orleans. Okay, Mills, another one down, 5 more to go. Do you know much about how they caught Corey Hayes, what the circumstances were, and where he was?
Well, Louisiana State Police announced his arrest just a couple of hours ago, but they've been pretty tight-lipped about just how much they're actually doing and what they're doing as far as the investigation goes, because they don't want the other inmates that are still on the run to get word of it. But Corey Boyd, 19 years old, and he actually was charged with second-degree murder from a car burglary that happened last year. And so we'll have to wait and see what happens here. But 5 inmates still to go at this point, Ashley.
Yeah, charges of second-degree murder, attempted second-degree murder, and aggravated battery. So clearly someone that should not be out wandering before he's adjudicated. Let's talk about that maintenance worker. I have mixed feelings about this guy after hearing his story, Mills. His name is Sterling Williams. He was booked into jail this morning. 10 charges of escape. The other guys will all get 1 charge, but he'll get 10. And also like malfeasance. Talk to me a little bit about what he's facing and what his bond is.
Right. Well, the Attorney General, she announced this arrest earlier today, 33-year-old Sterling Williams, the maintenance worker there. And as you mentioned, he was threatened to be shanked if he didn't turn that water off there. And according to the arrest affidavit, whenever he spoke with investigators at first, he was, quote, untruthful. And then eventually, after investigators kind of, drilled him for a little bit, he did open up and say that, yes, he was involved. And the Attorney General did say today that, of course, the investigation is still ongoing, but she believes that he may have been involved for multiple days. And the reason why that toilet and the water needed to be turned off was because if it wasn't turned off, it would have flooded the entire handicapped cell that they were in, and that would have drawn a lot more attention in that situation. So he's saying right now that he was threatened. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here, Ashley.
So once again, you were able to get some sound from the Attorney General regarding this particular incident. I mean, the Attorney General's weighing in on a lowly maintenance worker. Let's hear that. I want to ask you something on the other side. Take a look.
I think that he made some bad decisions. I mean, I don't think that he had to do any of the things that he did. And, if he was under threat, then he certainly should have brought that to someone else's attention. But the facts that I'm aware of indicate that there were multiple opportunities to do that, to bring it to the attention of authorities.
As far as I'm concerned, that's easy for her to say, okay? And if he looked like her, I wonder would she be saying the same thing and have the same energy? I'm just curious.
Well, we will hear from his defense attorney, but Mills, the guy he says threatened him, was Antoine Massey, one of the older inmates that he said was the ringleader. And this Antoine Massey has a history of escapes. Apparently back in, 2019, he did it again?
Right. Yeah, he has a history of it. Back when in 2019, when he was 27 years old, he was in Lancaster, Texas, at a jail there, and he broke out along with another inmate. And then he was arrested later that same day, though. Of course, different scenario here. But that's what the arrest affidavit says for Sterling Williams, is that he identified Massey as the one who threatened him. And of course, now we know that he has this history of a jail escape.
Woo, that's not going to go well when he's adjudicated for that one, but maybe the other charges he's facing are more serious anyway. Hey, Mills, thanks a lot. Really appreciate this tonight. It's a long day.
They need to go easy on that poor man. He probably was in fear for his life. And listen, these thugs in jail, they know people on the outside. They could have told him either do it or you're going to pay. They could have threatened his family or anything. We don't know. I'm going to hold my judgment to see the facts. Okay, Perfect Blackness Senior said, in the words of Red Fox, "You big dummy." I know, right? Honey, I would have just quit. They would have seen me back at work the next day. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not, dude, I would not have come back. Okay, thank you, beloved, for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Nandy said, after seeing Sinners, when Lindo's character saluted those men in the chain gang, ordered them to keep their head up, tells us that they really may mistreat the inmates. Oh, you know they do. Really may. Girl, they absolutely do. That's facts. How many stories have I covered where those correction officers have beaten inmates to death? Okay? Beat them all upside their head and everything. Y'all remember that last one with Robert Brooks? 13 of them beat that poor man to death. Yes, they absolutely mistreat them inmates, honey. It's also sad. And they should be put to prison for that. Okay, when they do those type of things, the guards need to go to prison. It's interesting how they'll give this maintenance man 10 charges when he was under threats of his life. But when one of those guards does something nefarious, a correction officer kills or maims somebody or whatever, they don't get any consequences. They just get a write-up. That's what they do for them. It's all crazy.
Okay, again, so I appreciate you staying up.
Thank you, Ashley.
Mills Hayes reporting for us live tonight. For more on that maintenance worker and what's about to happen to him for allegedly helping those 10 inmates break out, I'm joined now by attorney Jarrett Ambo from next door in Baton Rouge. Jarrett, thanks for being here. Oh, man. I mean, 10 escape charges, and I guess his bond is like 1.1 million, this lowly maintenance worker. Is this guy going to go away for life for this, or are they going to see that maybe he was threatened and go easy on him?
It's pretty serious business. I mean, the justification in defense in Louisiana allows him to say that the threat caused him to commit the crime, but his problem is that threat has to be immediate and to be able to be carried out immediately, and I'm not sure he gets there with them in a locked cell and him behind the wall, turning the water off.
What if he can actually prove, like corroborating witnesses, maybe, a wife or a girlfriend or a mother or a sister whom he complained to regularly, like these guys are going to kill me if I don't help them. And this Massey character is scary. These guys are, some of them are charged with and some are convicted of murder.
Right. These are serious men and they should be taken seriously. But like the Attorney General said, the threat wasn't immediate because he was able to remove himself from these men and go to a place where they couldn't be. So then it begs the question, could they have then carried that out, right? Could he have left his job? Could he have called police and told his superiors himself? All these things he could have done other than assisting them. I think he's in a pretty bad spot.
Never sue the other driver after a car accident.
He is in a bad
There's
spot.
a better
Man,
way to get paid a way bigger check without having.
I would have absolutely quit.
I don't, profess to know what it's like on the inside because they've never done time. I report on it a lot. And one thing I do hear a lot is that no matter whether you're separated from an inmate or not, stuff can happen. Word gets out, messages are sent. And my assumption is that this guy works in a jail and he knows that. So whether he can separate himself physically from Massey and these other characters, it doesn't mean he can separate himself from the threat. Isn't that a defense of some kind?
See, I like how she's thinking. Okay, she's giving the poor man the benefit of the doubt. See how she's having empathy for him? Okay, see how she has empathy for him? Please pay attention.
It's really a great point. And I think what it goes to is mitigation for his punishment, actually, not maybe vitiating his crime that he's committed, right? Lessening the crime, but just lessening the punishment, maybe that he did this under the threat of this real serious threat of harm, and perhaps will diminish his punishment in the end, but not diminish the fact that he committed the crime itself or helped these guys commit the crime.
Yeah, the authorities said, like you just brought up earlier, and the AG mentioned, bad choice, obviously, but they said he didn't come forward. He was evasive when they actually questioned him. He was untruthful. I wonder, I don't know this guy from Adam, but what if he's just a total dope, right? He doesn't understand the consequences and the severity of still trying to keep him or his family safe. Does that ever play in?
Sure, his sophistication and idea, being able to go through this process and what can I do instead of helping them takes a lot more sophistication than turning off the water. And so I think that's a big deal, right? I mean, that's a great question. Not only the fact that he didn't say it when he was first questioned, so that sort of goes to the fact that he was still scared of these men and what they could do to him or maybe his family on the outside. So those are great points.
Bless his heart. I hope that man gets out of it. Then they gave him $1 million bail? That's crazy. And they're probably going to stick it to him at the end of the day. They're going to stick it to him, honey. Down there in Louisiana, they have Angola prison, which used to be Angola plantation. And they still literally have the prisoners down there picking cotton. Okay, please pay attention, honey. Slavery didn't go anywhere. All right. It didn't go any damn where.
I'll tell you what, I believe this guy because some of the stuff that he put in his affidavit was too complicated to make up, right? Like the things that he was asked to do while meeting with these guys on video in the cell pod, take this book inside, there's Cash App information. I want my cousin in another cell to have it. It's like, dude, he's a maintenance worker. I just can't imagine he'd have come up with it. So I tend to think his story's truthful, and I really wonder if it will be a mitigation for him. I don't know. I feel bad for him for some weird reason because I know that this Massey character is just awful, horrible. And
all he did was go to work, right? All he did was go to work, and then he got into this mess. It's terrible. It's really terrible.
Let me tell y'all something. That man does not give one single damn. Okay, he's sitting there acting empathetic just because she's actually empathetic, and so he doesn't want to look like a jerk that I'm sure he is. Okay. And he's just like, but in his mind, he's probably saying, girl, shut the hell up. He needs to be in jail. Another ninja. Okay. He knew what he was doing. That's it. That's his attitude. I promise you. He doesn't care. At the end, I can see it all in his face. Okay. Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes and then look at hers. She has smiling eyes. Those are the eyes that you have of a decent human being. Look at his. Look like a damn shark. Honey. He doesn't care. He doesn't have any empathy. He doesn't care if the man really was scared, fearful of his family or any of that. He's like, yeah, he's going to get exactly what's coming to him. He let those thugs out. He should have came and told somebody. Okay, I'm just saying. He looks like one of those asshole cops that pull you over on the side of the road and talk to you like this. Yeah, get out of the car. You know why I pulled you over, right? One of those types. Okay, that talk to you aggressively and hostile for no reason. Please pay attention.
He didn't kill anybody, but I get it. He could have created a situation where these guys might kill someone, so I get it. Really good to have you, Jared Amble. Thanks so much for this.
Thank you.
Come back again, I hope. Okay, jailbreaks have happened before with a little help.
Read the difference. Clothing said LOL, not profiling. Oh, yes, I sure am, honey. They profile us all the time, okay? They profile us all the time, honey. But the difference is I'm not profiling all of them the same. I'm profiling him individually. See, when they profile us, we all are nefarious thugs and varmints and just up to no good. And there's a difference, honey. Okay, and I'm not doing it because of his race. I'm doing it from the look on his face. Look at his eyes. They look heartless and cruel. Okay, he didn't have any empathy. I can see it. I can literally see it. At the end of the day, he's a whole arsehole. Pay attention.
Help from an extra man or a woman on the inside. But how tough is it to co-opt a prison worker to help you break out of jail? Good thing I have an inside man of my own who knows a lot about how the system works because Larry Levine has seen it all.
Now, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I don't like this man. I don't like any of his talking points. This man is nothing but a clout chaser. He was in federal prison himself for at least a whole decade. And now he gets to get a job that they made up Okay, it's called a prison consultant. I find that interesting. Yeah, see how they make up jobs? Okay, this man's a whole fellow, but he's a prison consultant, like he went to college or something. Okay, I'm not saying he shouldn't have a job, but I'm just saying I want you to pay attention, okay, to how some people can be whole felons and then they'll just make up a job and pay you a decent salary, while some people have a felony conviction. They can't even get a job at Taco Bell. Is all I'm saying. All right.
After a decade on the inside, he is live with me next to tell me how it really works.
I've been trying to configure this field for an hour, but this CRM sucks. Maybe it's time to stand up to these slow, archaic CRMs. We deserve a...
Aqua Girl Rising said, this is also why I wouldn't work in a jail. Threaten me or my family, you can leave. Okay, I don't want to work in one either.
He was the maintenance worker at the New Orleans jail where those 10 inmates escaped. But now he is locked up on charges he helped break them out. How guilty is he if what he says is true, that he was just threatened with his life if they, if he didn't do what they said? Larry Levine has some insight on how tough or easy it is to coerce a guard to help bust out. He's a former inmate, founder of Wall Street Prison Consultants, and author of the book, Prison Politics 101, Mastering the Art of Survival. All right, Larry, how hard is it to coerce a guard?
In my book, I teach inmates how to coerce guards, and I sent a copy of it into Puff Daddy and Luigi, and the DOJ, the BOP banned it. I have personally seen at several institutions where a lot of times it's like healthcare workers. They go into a room alone with the inmates, so women and men, or who knows, maybe it's men and men. But they go into a room and they become friends and they become intimate with each other. And the staff, they're people too. They need money, they need loving, and the inmates are real good at manipulating. Let's look at Joyce Mitchell. I predicted back when that all went down, Dr. Drew Pinsky called me Nostradamus.
Now, he's sitting up here lying, right? Talk about doctor, so somebody called him Nostradamus. First of all, it's Nostradamus, not Nostradamus. But now your psychics are, sit your arse down. You aren't no darn psychic. If you were, you wouldn't have gone to federal prison. Because if you was a real psychic, you'd have known the feds were coming. Okay? Please, Miss Smith, what do you say that's a clout chaser? And then talking about he sent Diddy and Luigi Mangione a copy of his book. What? He said he teaches people how to coerce them into helping you to escape in the book. So you want to help people commit more crimes, but this is the job they give this clown. Are y'all listening? This man is nothing but a liar who lies. You can tell he's a liar who lies because why the hell is he wearing sunglasses in the daytime and sitting up here doing a darn interview? Remember what I told you all about people who do interviews with sunglasses on? They'll be lying. They try to cover up their eyes, okay? Remember Courtney Burgess when I interviewed his lying self? Now he's being sued by Diddy, him and his lying ass attorney. Okay, sitting up here with shades on. And didn't Adria English come on here with sunglasses on too? All right. And then what's that other guy's name? Chris Todd, the one who made up that fake Kim Porter book. All of them had on sunglasses. Okay, just pay attention.
Because I predicted what she would look like, what her position with the inmates would be, and what had happened. And when you get an older woman who's overweight, not really attractive, when they're on the inside working, the inmates, they kind of treat them like they're a princess, and they can manipulate them, or they'll offer staff money, they'll offer staff vacations. Inmates will offer staff all kinds of things to get what they want.
So this woman, Joyce, as you mentioned, she was the Escape from Dannemora star, connection. I think she was the seamstress who some of these, the two inmates were able to coerce through love to help break them out, saying, I think that we'll get together on the outside. Meanwhile, she's married, at home. There's another, Casey White and Vicky White story. It seemed very similar, right? Like, Vicky White is, wooed by Casey White. She breaks him out. She ends up dead. He still professes his love for her, whatever. But what about the other side of it? Those were coercion to voluntarily, to help. What about a guy like this who's threatened? His life is threatened, he says. How often does that happen?
he had ample opportunity to pull back, call in sick, report these inmates. When I first heard the story, I thought this happened spur of the moment, where they threatened him, held a knife up to its throat. Now I'm like finding out, well, this was a planned thing. And I'm curious, how did the inmates know what was behind that toilet? That if they just moved it aside, they could get out. So this guy probably fed them information. And I wouldn't be surprised if that comes out in the future. And I mean, he can profess his innocence. I wouldn't be surprised right now if they're looking at his bank accounts, his family's bank accounts, to see if there was any strange deposits or anything that went in.
Well, I'll tell you what, I saw Shawshank, so I know behind every toilet you can get out. Larry?
Now I want you all to sit here and listen to this clown talking about he probably fed them information. Yeah, that was on Shawshank, sir. He didn't have to tell them anything. Okay, I think everybody knows where the plumbing to the toilet is, sir. And then, not to mention, he's sitting there talking about checking his bank accounts for some money. What money was going to get from those broke ass thugs? One of them walked into a place in French Quarters, I heard, and snatched somebody's po' boy. The one that got caught first. Yeah, Gavin said he got caught because he had to go get him a po' boy. I said, how'd he pay for it? Gavin said he snatched it from somebody and took off. So they had money to put in that man's account. Please, sir. Okay, miss me with it. This man's a whole clown and a damn fool. And the fact that they gave him a title such as prison consultant, and he's actually written a book clearly using chat GPT. Okay, please miss me with it. Why is this fool even on here?
Larry, thanks for being here tonight. I always love seeing you. Thank you.
Okay, Ash, be good.
See you soon, I hope. All right, coming up next, a mugshot that just makes my blood boil every time I see it. A smiling mom with great hair and fabulous makeup, finally facing a judge in person for abandoning her 3 young children in conditions so filthy it made the police officers sick.
She should be ashamed of her darn self, nasty bitch. Michael said, Queen, if someone was interviewing me, my glasses would transition in the sun. Does that count for anything? No. Absolutely not. Okay. Dr. Doom says snatching sandwiches out people's head as they about to eat, as they about to bite. It's like a boo from Aladdin. Yeah, that's what they said. It snatched that man's darn po' boy sandwich out of his mouth. I bet that man was ready to get into it too, especially a po' boy sandwich from New Orleans.
Maybe someday I will learn to stop thinking that a story can't get any worse. And maybe this is the story that drives that lesson home, because it's as bad as they get. Remember that Michigan mom arrested for abandoning her 3 little kids aged 7, 8, and 10 and leaving them in a filthy row house for about 5 years while occasionally sending DoorDash to the front stoop? We have an update tonight, but I am going to warn you, get yourself a very stiff drink or whatever else helps you get through the night. Remember when the kids were rescued by police earlier this year? They were found huddled in a bathtub filled with human waste because the home had no working toilets. Police said that they'd never left that home on the orders of their mother, who communicated on occasion by text message with the oldest boy.
Okay, let's go to these updates, beloveds. So from CNN, they just have a brief one from a few minutes ago. Psychologist Dawn Hughes confirmed that she's never testified in defense of a man accused of an S crime. She said, I don't evaluate offenders. Okay, so she only evaluates women. And then Inner City Press says, let me see here. Okay, Box says, did you discuss the topics with the prosecutors? And then Dr. Hughes says, with all due respect, it was mostly me educating them. Box says, but you know nothing about the case. Were you advising them on how to present evidence in domestic violence cases? Oh, that's what he thinks that she did. If she is teaching these victims how to come in and how to prepare to how to speak and present themselves in court, he's thinking, yeah, you probably told the prosecutors how to, you know, what to do to prep their witnesses. And then so Box says, do you know, but you know nothing about the case. Were you advising them on how to present evidence in domestic violence cases? And then Box says, Didn't you help them write briefs? AUSA says, can we have a sidebar? That means yes. That means yes. Why you need a sidebar? Why do you need a sidebar? That must be what she was doing. So then the judge says, yes, but I'll keep it brief, shorter than the last one. Sidebar hasn't, in fact, been shorter, according to Inner City Press. So she done sat up here and helped the prosecution with their case as far as telling them what to ask and telling the people how to behave. Now, this is questionable. This is definitely questionable behavior. Okay, so then CNN posted this a minute ago. They say defense attorneys and prosecutors have been having a couple of lengthy sidebars over defense attorney Jonathan Bach's cross-examination of psychologist Dawn Hughes. Shout out to Jonathan Bach. You're doing a stellar job, sir. I know your wife's proud of you. He's married to Alexandra Shapiro, Diddy's other attorney, by the way. Now, so anyway, Bach asked her about 6 meetings that she had with prosecutors concerning her testimony, some of which have been since the trial started. Oh, wait a minute now. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? The shenanigans continue. Hughes has maintained that prosecutors have not discussed specifics of their case with her. How do we know that, lady? Like you're going to tell us. Okay, now we can't believe nothing you damn say or nothing they say either. This is awesome BS. Now, see, this is the stuff that's getting on my nerves. All they're going to do is give the defense more room and grounds for an appeal. Now, are y'all listening to this? Why is she having all these damn meetings with them? And this attorney did his homework. So shout out to Jonathan Bach, honey, because he's stopping them dead in their tracks. Like, what the hell y'all think y'all do it? Okay? He done called her all the way out. All right? Honey, Diddy's swinging, Diddy's airboxing right now, okay? Diddy's looking like Cuba Gooding Jr. on Boys in the Hood when those airplanes and helicopters was flying. Y'all remember? This is all a hot mess. Miss AP said, please pay attention. Oh, that's right. Oh, this is crazy work. This is crazy work. Ty's Kitchen said, Diddy is not right, but I believe this is a distraction so we forget about Jeffrey Epstein and the powerful people who engaged in trafficking victims. How did Jeffrey Epstein? Nobody's going to forget about that. That's why everybody wants Trump lying self to put out the files like he lied, said he was going to do. But I heard that they were blocking it and including Pam Bondi. Nobody forgot about Jeffrey Epstein over here and Harvey either. Because before Diddy's trial started, we were over here looking at Harvey Weinstein's conviction being overturned and his new trial that he's in. And the same reason Harvey got that new trial is the same reason Diddy's going to get one, I bet you, because all this crap that they got going on with the prior bad ex and all this stuff, I keep telling y'all. Okay, I told y'all, I've been telling y'all this for a whole month. And now this is what Mark Agnifilo said yesterday. Same thing. Honey, this is all shenanigans. And it's really starting to get on my darn nerves. They need to get it together. Okay, I need Diddy behind bars permanently. Permanently. So crazy. I'm so annoyed. Anyway, let me see what else we got here. Honey, let me tell y'all something. When people talk about being distracted, you see, I want y'all to remember, the only people who can get distracted, beloved, are the people that cannot focus on more than one thing at a time. Okay? They can distract them. They can't distract us over here on this channel, honey, because we stay on it, doggone it. This is all a hot mess. Now, what's really going on here? Something is afoot. I'm going to go ahead and start this back because I want to hear about this mother, what she did with these poor children.
The police said that the kids were unable to spell their own names, and their toenails were so long that they had trouble walking. One detective said he'd never been inside a place that smelled so bad without a dead body in it. These children, he said, had feces all over their bodies and in their hair. When the mother I mentioned was arrested, the officers said she seemed pretty well cared for. Police say Kelly Bryant's hair was done, her clothes were clean, and her nails were pristine. On Friday, she learned that her case will indeed be going to trial. And during that hearing, witnesses revealed a couple more things that we never knew about. That Kelly Bryant lived just within walking distance of the children's home, the House of Horrors, the whole time. She's within walking distance. The police said that she had not touched those children, nor had she given them any hygiene products for years, and that her son's name was stored in her phone as, quote, my oldest, and that the two other daughters were named Kid 1 and Kid 2. But that her name stored in her son's phone, you ready for this? World's greatest mom. Just think about that for a minute. World's greatest mom. Arresting officer said that when they put Kelly Bryant in handcuffs, she admitted to them, quote, I hurt my children. I sacrificed my children, probably. And then they said, she added, is there anything I can do to help myself? I don't know if the syntax is wrong there. Is there anything I can do to help? You know, myself, might I help? I don't know, but
anything to help yourself. I mean, it's the nerve. Oh my God. Let me tell y'all something. She said, is there anything she can do to help herself? Let me tell y'all something. You know how lawyers have to help these clients, and I know that in some cases, these defense attorneys do not like the people that they represent because they feel like they're pieces of filth. She's definitely one. Honey, I can represent her. I can represent somebody like her for no amount of money, okay? Doing things so egregious to children is where I draw the line, honey. They need to let me in a room with her. Ooh, honey, let me just be quiet, calm down. They need to let me in a room with her for just about 20 minutes, okay? That's just absolutely. And then talk about anything she can do to help herself. She lived how far from those kids? And they were there by themselves for 5 years. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting and egregious. Darn
suspect
shame.
no, given the sequence of facts.
Darn shame.
Police said that Kelly Bryant admitted to lying to the rest of her family about where the kids were, and also to taking the batteries out of the children's smoke detectors so that no pesky firefighters would ever show up and, you know, blow the arrangement.
Hello,
Wow.
my name is Adam Ferrari, the Chief Executive Officer of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you joining.
And none ever did.
She needs a death penalty. I'm sorry. People like that need to die. She needs to be put to death. Okay, I'm sorry. Life in prison. No, she don't deserve to breathe air. Filthy dog.
Eventually, the landlord, though, blew the arrangement because the landlord called the police because of the smell. And thank God he did. So Kelly Bryant is bound over for trial on charges of first-degree child abuse and welfare fraud. And when more details come out about what this woman allegedly did to those 3 little kids, and those details will come out, we will report them to you. Coming up next, I personally believe that anybody who asks someone else to help them move should be thrown in jail just for that request. But the other day, a Texas man did make that request of another man and did land in jail the same day with a bond north of $2 million.
What?
Problem is, it wasn't so much the moving as what was being moved. Here's a hint. Nothing like that should ever be inside a moving box, which of course I'm going to unpack next.
Well, this is all nefarious, honey. Please don't call me if y'all need to move. I don't help people move, okay? If anybody is ever moving, don't call me. Okay, so let's get into this next. Honey, anytime one of my friends talk about they got to move, honey, I'm nowhere to be found, okay? I am nowhere to be found, honey. I have much better things to do on my Saturdays and Sundays. But anyway, look at Lana's nefarious self talking about me neither. And let me tell you something. You know what they do? Let me tell y'all something. Here's what they do. They'll say stuff like, you know, rather than just coming out asking you, because they know you're going to say no, because who wants to help somebody move, right? So they'll call you and they'll say, hey, girl, what you doing Saturday? And if you mess around and say nothing, oh, good, you can help me move. I say, what? Honey, that's why I don't let people see. That's called closing. I'm going to teach y'all a little trick. Y'all can thank me later. I'm going to teach y'all a little trick. It's called closing. See, I don't let people close me, okay? I know what they're up to. For example, if somebody calls you and asks you what you're going to be doing on this day or that day, don't ever tell them nothing. because they got something they want you to do. And now you already told them you don't have anything to do. So now what's your excuse? You're going to look like a bad friend. So when they call me and say, hey, girl, what you doing Saturday? What you need? Why? What you need? That's my answer. Why? What do you need? Okay. Can you help me move, girl? We're going out of town. Please miss me with it. All right. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Talking about what you're doing, what you doing. Okay, that's the question. Elizabeth said, absolutely. Okay, I know that's right. Please miss me with all of it. I'm not having anybody move. Okay, I don't have time. Fabu said, exactly, Queen. I've been on that. Okay. And you know, another thing I hate is when I'm out somewhere and somebody calls me, girl, where you at? Why? Who wants to know? Okay. What the hell? You need to know where I'm at for. Honey, don't keep tabs on me. I'm at where I'm at. All right. That's how that goes. But anyway, let me continue. So defense attorneys and prosecutors have been having a couple of lengthy sidebars over defense attorney Jonathan Bach's cross-examination of psychologist Dawn Hughes. Bach asked her about 6 meetings that she had with the prosecutors with her nefarious self, okay, concerning her testimony, some of which have been since the trial started. Hughes has maintained that prosecutors have not discussed the specifics of the case with her. I bet they told her exactly what they need her to say. Okay, yeah. Why do you need? Here's the thing. You know she's lying. She's lying. I'm telling y'all right now, she's lying. First of all, if they didn't tell you anything about the case and they didn't tell you anything about specifics, and then she said, I heard it was about somebody named Cassie. Girl, bye. Okay, you know she's lying because first of all, if you met with them 6 times, what the hell you meet with them 6 times for? And some of those times is during the trial. You know they told you what to do, and they probably told her a whole outline of exactly what they need her to get up there and say. Okay, Jonathan Bach is on her arse, is all I'm saying. Now they say defense attorney Jonathan Bach has finished cross-examining psychologist Dawn Hughes. Assistant U.S. Attorney Mitzi Steiner is back up for redirect examination of Hughes. On redirect, Steiner confirmed with Hughes that the psychologist only evaluated court filmings related to her testimony and any filings. She evaluated court filings related to her testimony, and any filings that she reviewed were redacted so that she couldn't read any facts of the case. Okay, well, that sounds all right. Now, don't try that to shiesty, honey, because I promise you, if Diddy gets up out of here because y'all did something slick, I'm going to be outside the courthouse with a whole sign, honey, protesting. Okay, so that all been said. No, that's from CNN. We don't have any further updates from Inner City Press as of yet. Matthew Russell from Inner City Press, he's in there getting the scoop because he hasn't posted in the last 26 minutes. Okay, Matthew, where you at? So where you at, beloved? But I do appreciate him for sending me those dockets this morning that I read to you guys. Okay, so we're gonna finish watching this this News Nation report. It's gonna be done. This is gonna be done in about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna go to Lauren LaRosa while we wait to see what she said about yesterday when she was in court, okay, for Diddy's trial, and then we'll wait. We'll listen to that as we wait for further updates. Okay.
You may have heard the expression, good friends help you move, real friends help you move bodies. But police say Stephen Eberly asked a random stranger, not a friend, to help move some furniture and boxes out of his house in exchange for a few bucks. They say that while the two men were working last Friday, the stranger decided to peek inside one of the boxes. And lo and behold, there was a body wrapped in a blanket inside. Understandably, said stranger was startled and jumped into a truck and took off. But police say Mr. Eberly followed, jumping into the bed of the pickup and smashing the window to get the stranger to stop. And so the stranger did by crashing into another car. Mr. Eberly took off, but then was spotted and arrested a short time later. The body in the box has now been identified as Luis Silva Mendez, a local contractor who'd been working on Mr. Eberly's home. Tonight, Eberly is charged with murder and tampering with evidence, and the stranger may check references before accepting another job like that. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I encourage you to watch my podcast on YouTube. It's called Drop Dead Serious.
I'm gonna watch her podcast because I like her. She's a nice lady. Okay, but she did like the Punisher, honey. She did like the Punisher. Andrew said, Queen, did you hear that Barack's name was mentioned in court today? Mentioned again? You're not talking about when it was already mentioned yesterday. How many times are they going to mention Barack? I told you I Diddy was obsessed with that man. Now, yesterday we heard about Barack being on the ecstasy pills. I mean, not being on them. Let me rephrase that because you know how things get misconstrued. Basically, the pills that Diddy had in his bag had images of Barack on them or something like that. Now, so they brought him up again. And then how about the dude David James said when they would take those pills, it was called Diddy bopping. I'm done. I am done. Okay, so we're still waiting for updates. Now let's go to Lauren LaRosa, The Breakfast Club. I'm going to play some music because you know they be playing music in the background. I'm not trying to have any copyright issues. Okay, now I'll put an overlay on here. Oh, here we go. Because I don't need iHeartRadio getting on my neck. Here we go.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production. Set the lights low.
Short and to the point. The prosecutors asked her a few questions about, just her relationship, the background when she met him. And she said, my daughter was his artist, and then it progressed into her dating him. She moved to LA and we would only see her certain times. She then began to talk about how like those certain times would be Cassie coming home for the holidays. She went into one holiday where Cassie came home in December. Cassie came home, and this was after she had called Cassie before and been like, hey, I'm hearing or I'm reading these blind items online that are saying that, that are alleging that Diddy's putting his hands on you, that you got beat up in the back of a car. What's going on? And she's like, Cassie said, no, Mom, that's not me. That's not us. That didn't happen. But the Cassie came home this one Christmas and she had marks on her body. And they then had to sit down and have a conversation about the physical abuse that Cassie was experiencing. In that moment, her mom said that they took pictures. Mind you, we had seen these pictures in the court because Cassie, they talked about it with Cassie when she was on the stand. But her mom came and added some more context as to why they took pictures of the bruises. And her mom said it was simply because we wanted to memorialize the moment. Like we wanted to basically have... I know that this is happening. Have proof that it's happening. Exactly. Then she talked about Kid Cudi. The mom, Cassie's mom, talked about Kid Cudi coming to her home and visiting her, being there for a few days. But then they got to the $20K, and the mom said Diddy was upset. He reached out and allegedly told her, "Look, I just spent $20,000 on Cassie. And now she's dating Kid Cudi, and I need to recoup my money. So y'all send me this money." And this was after they had gotten this email that Cassie had sent, they, as in Cassie's parents, detailing the fact that Diddy had these sex tapes allegedly that he threatened Cassie to release, and he had threatened her that something was going to happen to her and Kid Cudi, and that his hands weren't going to be, it wasn't going to come from his hands. He would actually be out of the country. Cassie sent that email to her mom because, again, I think she just wanted some record of it because she was, she was scared allegedly. Her mom was like, okay, so we get told about these sex tapes that caught me off guard, and all this stuff is catching me off guard. And then he calls talking about, allegedly he calls talking about this $20,000 demand. She said they went and took out a home equity loan, paid the $20,000, and the prosecutor said, well, why did you guys pay it? Like, why did you? And she said, we were scared for our daughter's lives. So they paid the money. 4 to 5 days later, before that, let me back up. The prosecutor then asked her, well, how did you even know how to pay the money and who to pay it to? She says, Cassie's mom alleges that one of Diddy's bookkeepers sent an email with all of the information of how to wire it to him. They sent it. 4 to 5 days later, the money came back. No conversation, no nothing. They never spoke to him about it.
That's one of the specific things in the lawsuit. They said that he was using sex tapes and sexual images to blackmail.
Yeah, that is coercion. Okay, that's more of their suit right there. That's more of the Fed's case. That's coercion, threats and coercion. Okay, and for those of you, this is a picture of Kid Cudi. Okay, there he is in a wedding veil. Okay, that is absolutely extortion. Child. All a hot mess. Diddy is so darn nefarious, okay?
Yes.
Cassie.
Well,
and other people.
now I think, they should have known before, but now I guess people can understand why Cassie and Cassie's family is going so hard. If you call me, my daughter, and say, you got my daughter's sex tape and I'm going to release it for $20,000 and you're $100 millionaire.
And I had to take out a home loan?
I had to take home a home loan to pay that.
Man.
Because you had the money. You didn't need the money. You did it because you just wanted to make me do it.
Exactly.
I'm going to try to bury you. If not, try to hurt you myself.
No, let me tell you, talking about
That's crazy.
hurt you myself. Her mom then talked about another incident where they flew into LA for Cassie's 30th birthday. And this was Cassie's birthday is in August. So she was like, it's August, we fly in LA for Cassie's birthday. It's her 30th. So, they're excited. That's their baby. They get there and Diddy and Cassie allegedly are already going through their things. And there's an incident that goes down where Diddy takes Cassie's phone allegedly. And her mom, Cassie tells her mom, and her mom is trying to get the phone back. So they're outside of Cassie's apartment. Cassie's mother, Diddy, and allegedly D-Rock arguing. Cassie's mom said, I was yelling at him. I was trying to hit him. The only reason she alleged she couldn't get to him is because D-Rock was in the middle of them. So now you have this older woman outside trying to fight you to get her baby's phone back, allegedly, right? D-Rock's in the middle. She said, Cassie's mom says that Diddy did not give the phone back, but I'm sorry, he did give the phone back, but when he left with Cassie's car, allegedly. It was a Jaguar car that he left with. And the prosecutor's like, well, how did you know that he left with the car? She said, I saw it drive off. So then that goes back to a lot of what Cassie was saying on stand originally, like, he controlled everything. He would take things when he got upset, allegedly. He would do different things. So she kind of had to do her job, as she kept mentioning.
What about Kid Cudi? I heard Kid Cudi's taking a stand.
Kid Cudi is taking a stand. I want to say before we get to Kid Cudi, Cassie's mother was the first witness that Diddy's team did not they didn't ask her no questions. The lawyer stood up, introduced himself, and said, I have no questions for you. That was the first time we've ever seen that in court. Because what you going to say to that woman?
Nothing.
Exactly. Now, Kid Cudi. Yes. So
Man on the stand.
Yesterday, at the end, they started to talk about the rest of the week, and they said that Kid Cudi will be in court this week. They said that today, Wednesday, if they were able to, they would get to Kid Cudi, and he would be testifying. But from what I'm told, the way that the testimonies are going to be set up today, they don't really think that they'll get to him today, that it's actually supposed to be Thursday, which is going to be he's a huge witness as well too, because he's going to speak to, of course, a lot of the abuse
arson.
Again, but the arson, the card stuff,
but also the conversation that they had at that dinner.
The alleged conversation they had at that restaurant, and they is Cassie, Diddy, and Kid Cudi.
Y'all hear this? This is absolutely crazy. Reggie said, don't want to be seen attacking a loving mother. Okay, that's right. They didn't have any defense or excuse for Diddy's behavior.
Because Cassie alleged that Diddy came and sat them all down and said, I don't like what's going on here, basically, and y'all need what's happening. Fill me in, because he felt away. Diddy's team is alleging that he did that because he felt away, because he put them in the studio together and then they started dating. Cassie's like, regardless of the situation, it was threatening, and he mentioned that he was going to do things allegedly to Kid Cudi and to her. The car came into conversation, and at that dinner, Cassie alleges that Kid Cudi said to Diddy, well, what about my car? And Diddy said, what car are you talking about?
Yeah, but people who don't know, Diddy allegedly blew his car up.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I forgot. That's a major point to say. Yes. Yeah, because he allegedly blew his car up.
What about my car?
Jesus.
Yeah. That's going to be big, man, because, Diddy allegedly threatened to kill him, went to his house with a loaded gun. And that's going to be a really interesting part of the trial, because it'll probably start with Cudi. And then there'll be another witness who used to work for Diddy. He'll probably come in and confirm a lot of Cudi's testimony.
Yeah. Now, what about?
Do y'all hear this? This is all dreadful. American Isness said, do I break up with my boyfriend who got me a car? Will the government file RICO charges? Or is this the type of filing for special people? Please, honey, Diddy is a damn mafia, okay? He's a mafia boss. He just is an Italian, okay? Somebody blowing up somebody's car, come on now, threatening your life, of saying that he'll release corn pictures of you or corn videos. Diddy is the devil. And also, you guys, I got a picture Jay Gray said that exploded car is domestic terrorism. Okay, exactly, honey. It's no excuse. And then not to mention, I have a picture of Kid Cudi and Cassie when they left that restaurant and had that sit down with Diddy, honey. They were scared for their lives, honey. Diddy told them they know what time it is. Here's a picture of them right here. Ooh, honey, Diddy is low down and nefarious. Okay, at the end of the day, you know Kid Cudi had to be scared of Diddy because he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. Locked vegan jumping there to a queen. You wrong for that. Reggie said you tried it, queen. Thank you, TC Dan. TC Dan said, disclaimer, all statements made by Her Majesty Dr. Ahmadiyyah Shakur are alleged and made for satirical and entertainment purposes only. I couldn't resist. That was nefarious, though. I couldn't help myself. I am so done.
What about Big Punisher that his penis couldn't get hard and he had to...
First of all, you need to watch how you say that because people gonna think you're talking about the rapper.
Oh, there's a rapper named Big Punisher?
Yes. Rapper passed away.
Big Punisher?
Big Pun passed away 30 years ago.
And
Diddy
been freaking off for 30 years.
I didn't know that
allegedly.
Big Pun's full name was Big Punisher.
Exactly.
I never knew that.
So say the guy's name.
His name is The Punisher. His actual name is, let me look it up. It's like it's Sheree Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually from New York, and he wrote a book called In Search of Freezer Meat. But we'll have to get to that in the next hour because
the name of his called what?
In Search of Freezer Meat.
So hold on.
Yo,
before we move, just tell, were they cutting off penises and freezing them, or just?
No, he leans into freezer and meat because he said, if it's frozen, that's the hardest it can get. And the book is about mental health and how erectile dysfunction can play into your mental health.
What that got to do with pork loins, though, and tenderloins and chicken and thigh breath in the freezer?
In searching for him.
Well, it was. Did he say he couldn't get erect during the freak off, and they never called him back?
Hold on, you guys. The surprise witness is on the stand. Hold on. Court's about to be over in a few minutes also because it's 2:48. You know they get out at 3. Now listen, okay, so in her final question on redirect, Assistant U.S. Attorney Mitzi Steiner confirmed that psychologist Don Hughes had been retained as an expert witness by one of Sean Diddy Combs' defense attorneys in another case. Oh, really? Are y'all listening? So they just made a fool out of the defense team, honey. They were like, they sent her complaining about her, but one of his lawyers actually used her in another case, okay, as an expert witness. They said on recross examination, defense attorney Jonathan Bach confirmed that Hughes had worked with defense attorney Brian Steele in the past, but she didn't testify as a trial witness in Steele's case. Okay, well, that's a bit different. Now, 6 minutes ago, psychologist Dawn Hughes has finished her testimony, and now she's off the stand. 2 minutes ago, George Kaplan, a former executive assistant to Sean Diddy Combs, is now taking the stand. Diddy, you are done. Okay, he is the 12th witness called by the prosecution. Kaplan has received a subpoena requiring him to testify. Earlier today, he invoked his Fifth Amendment right to not testify on the grounds of potential self-incrimination, honey. Okay, but Judge Ivan Subramanian indicated that he was going to sign an immunity order that would require Kaplan to testify. Oh, this is all getting juicy. Let me see what they got in inner city press, honey. This is all so nefarious. At the end of the day, honey, Diddy is going down. Okay, so we got something from inner city press. They say, AUSA says, what's your position? This is Kaplan on the stand. What's your position? Kaplan says, executive assistant to the chairman of Mr. Combs from September 2014 to September 2015. AUSA says, who do you report to? Kaplan says, Miss Coram, KK. She essentially ran Mr. Combs' life. That's Christina Coram, okay, the one I told you all was a co-conspirator. AUSA said, where did you report? Kaplan said, LA. AUSA says, what did you do? Kaplan says, carried his bags, made sure things, I think it should say made sure things were where he wanted them to be. As he trusted me more than he had, he had me around more. I'd set up hotel rooms. AUSA said, how many hours a week? Kaplan said 80 to 100 hours a week. Dang, Diddy, you working people like dogs. Who works 80 or 100 hours a week? AUSA says, how much did you get paid? Kaplan says $125,000 a year to start. AUSA says, what did you do in the morning? That's more than Diddy paid his artists. Are y'all listening? He says, AUSA says, what did you do in the morning? Kaplan says, make sure everything was in the bathroom. The breakfast was cooked. He was recording a mixtape, so we worked late. All right, y'all. This is all nefarious. Please pay attention. It's about to get good. Well, actually, we're about to be done for the day. From the, hold on. My mouse is acting crazy. Okay. So that's it for right now. Okay. Yeah, court's about to be over soon because it's like 10 minutes till. Okay, let's listen to Lauren before we end out.
They called him back a couple times. We're gonna get.
Okay.
Listen,
So he wrote a book about that.
he wrote a book about it. We're gonna get.
Remember in the first book?
Okay.
Okay. Crazy.
Okay.
Envy.
Putting meat in the freezer to make it hard as it can get is insane.
Not Envy got a book bestie.
I don't ever want to be that horny. Why are people so horny?
You're the only one.
That's crazy.
The only one.
Freezer meat.
Loving this.
Yes.
You're trying to figure it out, honey.
I'll find out next hour. Surprise.
Yeah, and we're gonna start organizing the witnesses under the charges because now it's starting to all lay out, and I want us to put it in places.
Also, when you
surprise me next hour with some frozen mystery.
And also, when we come back next hour, you tell us who's testifying today. Who's going to be in court today?
Yes, and why would you look at Envy when you said that about a mystery meat?
There's no mystery about Envy's meat.
Like,
Okay, shut up. We know where it's been.
I know that's right.
Somebody called me to the stand. I got some stories to tell. Okay,
you better be quiet. You better watch out.
We bet you did.
Right. All right. When we come back, we got front page news, and then the champ will be joining us. Clarissa Shields is the Breakfast Club. Come on.
Yeah. All right, so I'm waiting for more updates, but I think the next update is going to be when court's over. We'll see. Let's just sit tight, everybody. Now, while we're waiting, I have a little intermission video I'm going to play for y'all real quick. Okay. Let me pull it up here.
Kind of look like a Ninja Turtle. You're not that cute.
My name's Aaron.
Okay,
Yes.
and what do you do?
I'm a licensed plumber.
So we did get a pop balloon. For me, it just did not work. I didn't feel like I had chemistry or I wasn't fully attracted to you.
Yes, the feeling is definitely mutual. So that's okay. Thank you. You did me a favor.
Okay, well, let's go ahead. All right, we got a pop over here.
Brianna, 26. My eyes are up here, baby. Are you looking at the test?
No, I'm looking at the hair on your arms. You know, women I deal with, they don't have hair on their arms.
Don't do too much.
You trying to say if I'm looking at particular body
You just
parts,
wasn't
but
looking at
that's
my
not
eyes.
what it is.
Yeah, I'm in heels and you ain't tall enough.
Well, you're not qualified, baby.
All right,
so that's all good.
Since you want to come at everybody over here, I'm going to get at you too. You kind of look like a Ninja Turtle. You're not that cute. You need to relax.
Well, let me say this, Queen. I'm a licensed plumber.
Like, is the word pussy offensive? Asked that crowd when we was in Denver. One was a woman in the front. She's older than me, maybe around my age. Definitely a feminist. You know what I mean? Short haircut, plaid shirt, you know what I'm saying? She said, I'm uncomfortable with that word. And I was like, really? You? And then before I could ask her why, there was one other guy, he was in the balcony. Now, I don't think he was saying this to me, but he said this. Everybody heard him say it. He goes, it's delicious. I don't think I've ever heard pussy called delicious before in my life. Now, this is not to say that it's bad, but it's definitely an acquired taste. I don't think any of us tasted pussy our first time like, hey!
So nefarious, okay? All right, with that being said, got a couple of updates, okay? From CNN. Okay, George Kaplan, a former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs, said his day would typically start around 9:30 a.m. and that he would make sure the chef and housekeeping staff were ready for the day. Pay attention, the chef and housekeeping staff, okay? I told you Cassie wasn't cooking no darn eggs, like Dawn said. So he said he would also make sure Combs' bathroom was set up with his toiletries and medications. Now, the earliest he could ever remember finishing a day was around 5 or 6. And the latest he could ever remember was around 7, 8 a.m. See? So that's almost a whole 24 hours. Now, he said typically he worked 80 to 100 hours a week and was paid $125,000 per year. George Kaplan started at Combs' Enterprises in 2013 as an executive assistant to the chief operating officer. About 10 months later, he was promoted to Sean Diddy Combs' executive assistant. He reported to Christina Coram, Combs' former chief of staff, who he said essentially ran his life. Now, Sean Diddy Combs hired a licensed security group in the second half of 2015. His former executive assistant, George Kaplan, gave this information in his testimony. Now, this group was more professional and more polished than Combs' former longtime security guards and seemed to have a lot more real-time training, he says. All right. Okay, so that's it for now. Oh, hold on. Inner City Press just posted. Okay, Kaplan says, Uncle Paulie, D-Rock, and Ruben. I'm sorry, AUSA said, who was security? And then Kaplan replies, Uncle Paulie, D-Rock, and Ruben, later licensed security in the second half of 2015. AUSA says, how frequently did you communicate with Mr. Combs? Kaplan says, multiple times a day. Things could be found in the back, an iPad, rugs with a D, whatever. AUSA says, how did he treat you? Kaplan said, he threatened my job. AUSA said, how often? Kaplan said, maybe monthly. He'd say he was only to be surrounded by the best people and that he wasn't. And for example, he went to me for a 1 liter of water. I think it should say he sent me. Now, but keep in mind, this man's in the court. You know, he's trying to get all the details. So when he's typing fast. So it's few typos, okay, sometimes. But he says, he sent me for a 1 liter of water, and I bought back 2 half liters. He said no. That's how you know Diddy is just a sociopath. Okay, he doesn't have any empathy or something. So you asked for a liter of water, and the man bought you 2 half liters, which equals a liter. Okay, but you mad? Talk about no. Honey, I would have took that bottle of water, opened it up, and poured it on Diddy's damn head, said, I'm out of here. Okay? Y'all know I'm lying. I wouldn't have tried Diddy. All right, Diddy had too much power and privilege. But anyway, this is all crazy. Okay, so that's all they have for now. Oh, hold on, here comes another one. Okay, says, AUSA says, how did you travel? Kaplan says on his jet or going in advice, or going in, I think it should be in advance, or going in advance to make sure it's all set up. AUSA says, how did you set up his hotel rooms? Kaplan says, there was a bag. I unpacked it, clothes, candle, Astroglide, baby oil. AUSA says, who bought this? Kaplan said, often me. Okay, you know what it looks like they're doing? It looks like they're going to prove more commingling of funds and also more of him basically using the business to get personal things and then adding it to the business expenses, which is still coming in the funds. It looks like he's basically going to corroborate David James's testimony from yesterday, the other man who was also a former assistant. And they had the same job description because he's basically, everything that he's saying, that's what also James said that he was doing. Setting up the hotel rooms, that's called advancing the hotels, making his travel arrangements, or not travel arrangements, but, you know, getting his things ready for when they travel and whatnot, and having all his favorites and all that. Okay, so let me see. Looks like I have something else in from CNN. Okay. Sean Diddy Combs hired a licensed security group in the second half of 2015. His former executive assistant, George Kaplan, gave this testimony. He said this group was more professional and more polished. Okay, I think I read that. Okay, George Kaplan, a former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs, communicated with Combs daily, exchanging text messages, calls, and emails multiple times a day about things he needed, which could include clothing or potentially food from somewhere, or rugs with a D, or liquor, or an iPad, or a speaker. That was less than a minute ago when that was posted. So it's 3 o'clock right now. They're about to let out, I do believe, unless they're going to wait till he finishes talking. They're likely going to go ahead and let out in a second. So let's just sit tight. Ooh, honey, this is all juicy, honey. This is all getting real juicy. Are y'all loving it or what? Are y'all loving it or what? Once in the chat if y'all think this is all so nefarious and juicy. Mama Joyce said Diddy not only robbed his artists, but also robbed babies from baby oil. Okay, robbed baby oil from babies is what you mean. Yes. I mean, what is with this Astroglide and baby oil that he has to have it every single where he goes? Everywhere he goes. I wonder how long he's been doing this freaking deacon stuff, okay? Everybody's putting one thing. I'm loving it too. This is all nefarious. All right, this is really a whole lot. Diddy's going down, honey. Ooh. Diddy is going down. Look at Fat Boo talking about Astroglide. It's fun. Is it? What's going on with the Astroglide, honey? Y'all gonna get y'all some? How many of you don't lie? How many of you are now gonna try some Astroglide and try to heat up that baby oil? Okay, because remember they said Diddy likes his baby oil lit. He likes it warmed up. How many of y'all gonna try it? Huh? Get y'all little strobe lights. They said Diddy had strobe lights, honey. Said he had candles and little red lights that flash and all that, setting the mood, I guess. Y'all gonna try that out this weekend? Some of y'all freaky deeks. What are y'all gonna do? What are y'all gonna do? Miss AP said no dryness is tolerated. I am so done. James said, ain't gonna have my little house on fire. Ooh, look at Just Anticipate sitting up for no, she lying, talking about I'm a good girl queen. That's what they all say, beloved. That's what they all say. Laverne said, don't think so. Fat Boo said, I ain't fooling with no baby oil. Diddy gave it a bad name. I know they should really change the name of it to Nefarious Oil, okay? Oh my goodness. Jay Gray talking about this is too much for her virgin ears. Sit down somewhere. Reggie said every saint was a sinner. I am so through. Gwendolyn said, Queen, I really enjoyed these court sessions with you. Thank you, beloved. Songwriter Sonny said, bad boy oil. Sheila's in there for no, she lying, talking about she's celibate. Since when? Yesterday? Ty's Kitchen said he was ruining sheets and furniture with that oil. Okay, can you imagine spilling it on your darn couch or something? Diddy is a freak. Every time, listen, I'm not even joking. Every time I hear this stuff, it just reminds me of that song, I'll Be Your Freakazoid. That's just really what it's giving. Latasha said, if you need that, Queen, time to stop. It's been too long. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Kaplan, a former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs, testified that his former boss, I think they must be going to 3:30 today, says that Kaplan, a former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs, testified that his former boss threatened his job almost monthly. Combs would remark that he wanted to be surrounded by the best, and those around him at the time were not performing at that level. Sometimes Combs was angry and other times motivational. How are you going to be angry and motivational? Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. During Kaplan's first week of working for Combs, he assigned Kaplan to find a 1-gallon BPA-free water bottle at Whole Foods. The store didn't have it, so he brought back 2 half-gallon bottles instead. Combs angrily told Kaplan that he did not bring him what he asked for. He was very close to my face. I wish he would get close to my damn face. You got to watch Diddy, because you all know that Diddy has threatened several people that he would bite their face. I'll bite your face. You know, he said, I'll eat your face. Y'all remember he told Lil Rod that. And he told somebody else that too. I'll eat your face. First of all, who says that? And then you're getting close to this man's face, honey. Diddy is sick in the head, honey, okay? Just sick in the darn head. Mary Lou said bipolar. That's definitely one of his problems. I absolutely believe that. Okay. Okay, so let's just wait a minute or two. Yeah, they can't be leaving at 3 o'clock today because it's already 5 after. Oh, Lord. I thought I was getting out of here early today. because I got things to do. Trayvon said, remember Tupac did that Rick James impersonation? Yes, I do remember that. Okay, I absolutely remember that, beloved. AJ said he might be tripolar. Okay. Just a whole weirdo. I'll say that much. And I thought I was getting out here at 3 o'clock. They're going to let this man finish, and then we're probably going to go to 3:30 because they're going to let him finish his testimony, and then they'll probably go for the cross on tomorrow. Thank you, Nicole, beloved. I really appreciate you. Thank you for your contributions to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. This is all a hot mess. Let me see if I can look this guy up so we can see what he looks like. Gwendolyn talking about no queen stay. Oh, I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay until, they end for the day. Reggie said, I think Diddy has multiple personalities. Oh, I believe he does. And those are called demons where I come from, beloved. Okay. I believe it's called demons. And that's exactly what he is. Just anticipate that you're stuck with us, queen. I know, right? I know. With a nefarious bunch. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of this guy, George Kaplan. Let me see here. George Kaplan and Diddy. I don't see him, but this looks like a picture of the federal agent. Poor Cassie with all those darn bruises. Oh, no, this is George Kaplan. Let me give you all a picture of him, honey. Oh, hell no, Diddy, you done upped up. This man don't look any different than the guy, David James, who was there yesterday. Okay? He doesn't look any different than that man who was there on yesterday. Now watch this. I'm about to pull him up. And I'm starting to think that Diddy just loved exerting his power and control over everybody, not just Cassie. This is just what he'd like to do. We should have known that from the time he made them go walk into across the Brooklyn Bridge to get him a damn cheesecake. I done got him a cheesecake, all right. Now I want y'all to see this dude. First off, hold on, I'm trying to pull this up. Okay, now this is the guy from yesterday, David James, and here is George Kaplan. Okay, he looks like he does not want to go in there and say a darn thing, honey. And they had to give him immunity. See, they gave both of his assistants immunity. Why do you think that is? Okay, 2 more updates. Let's get into it. The last from CNN was when he says, George Kaplan said Diddy got very close to his space. Okay. Now, George Kaplan, a former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs, traveled to various destinations with Combs, including to New York, Miami, Atlanta, D.C., and Orlando. he would either fly on Combs's private jet with him or fly in advance on a commercial flight to ensure that Combs's lodgings were set up properly. Kaplan testified that the first time he was told to set up a hotel room for Combs, he was given a bag and told to unpack it. The bag had clothes, a speaker, candles, liquor, baby oil, and Astroglide in it. After that first time, he said that he would often buy the same supplies with his corporate credit card. Okay, he said Combs or Christina Corbin, Combs' former chief of staff, would usually instruct him to set up the hotel room. Now, 1 minute ago, former Sean Diddy Combs executive assistant George Kaplan continues to talk about his role in setting up Sean Diddy Combs' hotel rooms. The room was usually, or the rooms were usually reserved under the name Frank Black. Same story that David James said, which was a reference to the late rapper and Bad Boy Records artist Notorious B.I.G., whose nickname was Frank White. Didn't I tell y'all that? Kaplan's understanding was that Combs would have guests or a female partner join him in the hotel rooms. Afterwards, Combs would leave a hotel room. Kaplan would enter and pack up Combs' belongings and tidy up the place. Ooh, and the smell must have been atrocious, honey. I would have put a clothespin on my nose. Okay, so then Kaplan said he came to understand part of his role was protecting Combs' image. I'd have told him, you need to pay me a publicist fee if I'm going to be doing all that. Protecting him and protecting his public image was very important, and that was something I was very keen on doing. Typically, there'd be Gatorade bottles, liquor bottles, and baby oil strewn around the hotel room after Combs left. On one occasion, he cleaned up a brown crystallized powder off a countertop. Kaplan didn't know what it was, but cleaned it up just in case. I hope he wore gloves. Kaplan, now this is from a minute ago. Kaplan, a former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs, recounted 2 times that he said he picked up rugs with a D on Combs' behalf, once in Miami and once in Los Angeles. So you're going to make, let me tell you something. That's where I draw the line. I'm not going to go pick up your rugs. He said both times Combs gave Kaplan cash and a number to call, and then Kaplan arranged to pick up the rugs with a D. One time he picked up MDMA, and the other he didn't know what the substance was. Don't tell him what it was, honey. The jury, now this is from a minute ago. Okay, the jury was dismissed for the day. George Kaplan, a former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs, will continue testifying on direct examination at 9 a.m. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Combs said that she has about 30 minutes of questioning left for Kaplan on direct examination. Okay, so we're done for the day, beloveds, and I hope you all enjoyed this, honey. It was all juicy. Now, we'll be right back at it in the morning. Okay, I'm going to start at 9:15 because they'll be in court at 9, so I'm going to come in at 9:15 so we can already have some updates posted by the time we get started, okay? So I will see you all here. I hope you all enjoyed it, honey, because I sure did. These people are a mess. Okay, don't y'all think so? These people are a whole hot mess. Is that right? I absolutely cannot. Okay, so anyway, with that all been said, everybody enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Okay, I may come back later to give you all a recap after I get the rest of the scoop from my source that's inside the court. Okay, if not, I'll just do it in the morning. Anyway, love you all to life. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Sold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got